Things was never fair. I'd rather be this starving artist, experience life now at its farthest. One blue sky, we are under, torn and shred now, ripped asunder. The politics, war and famine. I thank God I'm still here jamming. Train your mind. We got the witch's nose pepper here, as I like to call it. But many of you will know it by another name, a ghost pepper. Growing right here in our garden.
Don't eat it. I'm not.
They're gonna eat one, folks, just for your entertainment pleasure. They will suffer through pain and agony so that you may experience joy. So I'm gonna show you guys why I call it the witch's nose pepper. If you look at it, it's like all bumpy and it's got warts all over it and it's all crooked like a witch's nose would be. So I like to call it the witch's nose pepper. It's like a bright, sick shade of green. I'll eat you, my pretties! So as I attempt this feat of amazement, I have come prepared with a few necessities. We have milk, ketchup, and ranch dressing. And for any of you who have consumed hot things, more, likely than not, they have probably been in the form of hot wings and hot wing sauce. And there's a reason that you always get these items, or usually get them with something like ranch dressing. So hot things of this type, I like to call them spicy rather than hot, because temperature-wise, they're not necessarily at a high level, but on the spiceometer, they're pretty hot. And they have what is called capsaicin. And what happens is there's a chemical reaction where it actually bonds to your taste buds. And if this bond is too extreme, it can actually cause you, in some instances, so much irritation, inflammation, that it will give you a chemical burn. So it can actually burn you, like something that is hot temperature-wise can, due to the chemical interaction which actually occurs. And they have what's called, I think it's the Scoville level, and I think the ghost peppers, if I'm not mistaken, is the hottest naturally grown pepper on the planet. And we managed to grow some in our garden this year, just for fun, really, rather than anything else. And I think that I might have the guts today to actually try one. They just came into maturity within the last couple days, so we'll see how this goes. So the overall idea here is that if the spice is too much for me to handle, then I will consume, the milk, the ketchup, or the ranch. And what this will supposedly do is actually intervene between the bonds, the chemical interactions and reactions between the plant matter and my own cells, making it so that it will actually interrupt the chemical reaction or process which is going on, and coating these molecules which are causing this irritation and possibly inflammation and burning, and the reaction of spiciness itself. And unlike water, which in my own experience, I've had some pretty hot things. I can eat jalapenos pretty easily. I've had some pretty spicy hot wings and hot wing sauce. Usually, I always have ranch on hand. But the hottest thing that I've had probably doesn't measure up to the amount of spice that I'm about to experience right now. So wish me luck, folks. So I just licked one. I broke one in half and just touched it on my tongue. And I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. It's like going up to a lake that you're going to jump into off of a rope swing or something. And it's high up in the mountains, but you went down and touched your foot in the water beforehand. and then now you're just gonna psych yourself out rather than just going and like going off the swing and jumping into the water, you know. So I'll just talk a little bit more about, you know, the effects of capsaicin on the body. Like for instance, if you use water to actually try to help ease the sense of spiciness that you're experiencing, supposedly what it does is it actually acts as like a lubricant almost, and actually spreads this molecule further throughout your system. So it's actually not the chosen choice of beverage, the beverage of choice to go along with the task such as this. Am I in frame? My stomach's all queasy.
Your head's in frame.
Yeah, my head's in the frame.
It's
Is
like,
this in the frame if I go like this?
yeah.
Is that in frame?
It's in frame if you eat it. I'll make sure.
I feel like before, like I have like a wrestling match or something like that, like a competitive wrestling match. That's what I feel like right now. It's like I'm about to enter into a fight in the ring.
Yeah.
And it's like my stomach's already queasy, but I haven't even eaten anything.
My head. Oh.
All right. I just ate it. Maybe I'm more of a champ than I thought, because that wasn't really that bad.
How spicy was it?
It wasn't that spicy.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
I think it's because I ate the baby one. I ate the baby one because I'm a little pansy.
I'll eat the other baby one.
Yeah, eat that one. That's wicked. That's a wicked witch nose.
I think it was immature. And so I was like, thought I was getting away with murder right there, folks. Cold-blooded murder. But it's like stealing candy from a baby, I guess, if you just eat the little baby pepper.
Do that one.
Okay, it's hot. But I think I can handle it. It's definitely hot, folks, but
Are you gonna eat that other one?
yeah, I'll eat this one too. Like,
Are you gonna eat one, Gaden?
I might.
I'll have a nibble.
it's
of
definitely hot in terms of the spiceometer. And I actually felt the spice on that one a lot more than the first one that I bit into. So, just to recap, I ate that little tinier one, then I ate the bigger one, probably one of the biggest ones. That one had quite a bit of spice. But nothing that I can't handle. Every once in a while it feels like it's gonna choke me up, but it's not like I'm gonna start throwing things around in agony and lift up the picnic table and turn it over and drown myself in milk or something, you know. But I wonder if, like, maybe I had one that was in its adolescence, it was like premature spicy, you know, and then I had one that was like too old, so it was like you know, too mature, and so its spiciness had actually aged to the point of where it was no longer capable of housing extreme spice. And so maybe this guy right here is like, he's like young, you know, he's athletic, he's like what? He's like 20, what's like the ideal age, Angelica?
18.
18? You don't think it's like 23 or something?
I don't know. I just think 18.
Ah, you think 18? All right. What do you think, Gaden?
'Cause I don't even know.
23.
He's 23? I don't know. Maybe he's 21 then. We'll like split the difference right there, you know? Maybe this pepper's like 20, 21. We just had like a 7-year-old pepper, and then we had like a 70-year-old.
85.
85-year-old? 85-year-old, and maybe this is like a 21-year-old. Okay. All right. It's nothing that I can't handle, but it definitely made it difficult to want to talk right there. But I'm definitely feeling the effects of eating something that's muy caliente, where your nose almost starts to run, you know? And you can feel like, for any of you who have ever smashed your thumb or something like that with a hammer, and you feel like it's not a pulsing effect, but there's a sensation, a continual sensation, a reaction. It's like how can I put this? An ever-present, it's almost extremely cooling. Like, let's say that you had a cool mint, but this was an extremely cool mint, and it was so ice cold that it was just freezing a continual portion of your body, right in the back of your tongue right there. And instead of it throbbing like after you smashed your thumb, it was like that throbbing sensation was just a continual, omnipresent sensation that just wasn't going away. Almost like stinging nettle. If any of you have ever touched stinging nettle, whoa, and I just got like a whole rush, like a wave over my body, where I just felt like a change in atmospheric pressure, you know, from the lower region of my body all the way up to the upper portion, kind of exiting out of my cranial region, like a ghost just left my being, my physical form, and just ascended into another realm, folks.
That's probably why it's called a ghost pepper.
Which is where this sensation has now taken my mind. It's like I'm just manned up and really just, you know, allowed myself to experience this on camera. But let me just recap for y'all. So initially I got this little guy right here and just chewed him right off, and he was kind of like eating a banana pepper, you know. Just got him off, and then went for the big mama jama, and you know, this witch's nose was all crooked, bent out of shape, had some crazy deformations going on, but I think she had kind of lived past her prime, so to speak, you know. And then I went after, you know, the 18, 23, 21-year-old pepper right here, and just sent me flying off into the spiritual realm of heat, of it's like almost refreshment. It's like cleansing. You know, it's like detox. But it's just barely starting to wind down. Like the actual sensation that I was experiencing, kind of like in the, if you were looking out from my vision, the upper left quadrant of my mouth, of my oral cavity, and the back left top portion of my tongue. But anyways, but I did it without drinking any milk or ketchup or ranch, and I tried to document exactly how it was that I was feeling it. It was like, you know, somebody having like an extremely hot object that was near you, like you were standing near a fire. You know, if you went any closer to the fire, then it was gonna totally burn you, but it definitely burns. Like, you know, you got burned by the fire, but it wasn't to the point of where it was like blistering your skin. It was just in between, you know, causing physical damage on upon your body, while you could still actually stand it. At least for me experiencing it, that's what it was like. I've had quite a bit of experience, I would say, eating spicy things, you know, from peppers fresh out of the garden to food that I order or whatnot. So I don't necessarily know what the experience itself would be like for another individual, but just let it be known, if you're going to actually pick the pepper yourself, before you pick the pepper, don't pickle it, just, you know, eat it plain and fresh off the plant. Go for the one that's young and spry and in its prime. Thanks for watching, folks, and have a blessed day. I mean, overall it wasn't too bad. I feel a little lightheaded, and maybe like I had just recovered from a fever, and it was like my fever broke, you know? And I don't know exactly how much of the sensation was comparable to other spicy peppers that I've eaten. I mean, if I was going to analyze this from a scientific perspective, I would obviously have to take into the factorization, you know, take into consideration the factor that how biased am I and what biases would actually present themselves in this experiment. I mean, one, there's me doing it for attention, and so maybe I'll actually heighten the experience itself, and maybe that will actually heighten the experience for me as well, because I know that this is going to be something which is going to be seen by other people. You never know. Maybe it will actually accentuate and, you know, cause your body to actually overreact to the experience and the substance itself, because you're also having psychological influences on the experience. And so I'm not sure exactly how much of that went into play, but, or, you know, during the fact that I actually kind of tried to walk everybody through what it was that my body was going through while I ate it. I don't know how much of a play that actually went into the sensation. It was hot, it was spicy. If you do it, look for one that doesn't look like it is too old or one that is too young, and it will definitely be spicy. So after that experience, I was like, you know what, maybe there's more to what's going on than meets the eye. I looked up online, and supposedly they're not fully ripe until they turn a bright red. So kind of the joke's on me, and maybe I overreacted a little bit for how immature the peppers really were. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the experience. Maybe I'll still have the balls to actually try a fully matured one, if they actually come into maturity. From what I was reading, it's actually fairly difficult to actually grow them in a natural environment and have them reach full maturity and spiciness. So be looking for that video in the future, and I'll see you next time on Euphoric Intentions.
So yeah, here is what they're supposed to look like when they are fully grown. How to know if my ghost pepper is fully grown. And then we have this image right here where my mouse cursor is circling. They're supposed to be a really bright red. Signs of maturity. They start out an unremarkable green, pass through shades of orange-yellow until they are a brilliant red. Well, there you have it.
So I guess I just must have been so excited when I saw the size that they were that I was like, I'm gonna do this today, I'm gonna do this today. And so I just went ahead and did it, you know? And I had my cousins over and they were all like, oh yeah, show us the ghost peppers. And so then they're like, you should eat one. And then I just, you know, went and did it. And I didn't really take the time to actually look up whether or not they were ripe or not. But after doing it, I was just kind of like, you know what? That really wasn't like as bad as I thought it was gonna be. So let me check like what's really going on here. And so yeah, I went online and checked and saw that they're supposed to be like a bright, like a really bright red. So I'm still gonna upload this video though, because I think it might be fun if I do actually commit to eating them when they're in their like full prime, then to compare, you know, when I actually thought they really were hot versus when they really are hot. Now, in all truth and honesty, it was still spicy. Like, it was still spicy. And maybe that gives me like some subtle notion or indication that it shouldn't be something that I commit to when they are actually in their prime, because the gardening manual that I was reading was telling me that when you're handling them in the plant, when they're 100% ripe for the picking, that you need to wear like, you know, protective gloves and make sure not to touch anywhere else on your body, and especially your eyes and stuff like that, so that you don't pretty much go blind or something, you know.
Train your mind, now hear my words. Twitter pated little bird. If you've kept up with all my posts, then your life's just like a ghost, already dead in the machine. The screen and life one's in between.